7:02, I'll call this meeting in the Common Council to order. Will you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll move next to roll call. Clerk Treasurer Aldrich.
Carolyn Pearson. A.L. Seward.
Here.
Mike Shockey.
Here.
Brian Garrison. Richard Traylor.
All right. We'll move next to the annual report from the Board of Aviation Commissioners. I'd like to introduce Mr. Jason Hart, our airport manager. Mr. Hart, you have the floor.
All right, thank you guys. So as the mayor said, I just wanted to give a little bit of an annual report as to what we've been doing out there, because I know the airport doesn't always talk to everybody a lot of the time. And I feel it's our job to show exactly what we're doing. Oh, that didn't help. We'll make it work. Anyways, so the first thing I wanted to touch on is our fly-in or drive-in. This past year, the airport hosted its first fly-in or drive-in. We had a crowd of about 1,000 people out here at Delphi just to generate interest in aviation. We had a T6 Texan come out and did some flybys, and I think, Shane, you got a ride in it, right?
I did.
So we had a little bit of fun. We had a total of about 30 planes, and we're hoping to do that a little bit better this year. We're trying to get a Black Hawk to come in from the National Guard. The T6 is returning, and we're hoping to get a DC-3 in as well from Remote Area Medical. That event is basically trying to inspire the next generation of aviators. That is our new slogan, and we're trying to live up to that as much as we can. The next big thing we've been doing is our runway extension to 4,000 feet. To regular civilians, that doesn't sound like a great deal of anything, except for us, this means we're going to be able to allow bigger planes to come in, maybe some private jets here in the near future, and just hopefully stimulate growth business-wise to Delphi. Maybe in the next 10 years, the Indiana Packers might have a jet, and hopefully we can cater to their needs. The current extension stands as is like it is in that photo. It was postponed a few months ago due to the weather, and we're going to be picking that back up here this spring. Delphi played a role in the Hurricane Harvey relief effort. We had Remote Area Medical, a nonprofit organization that does rescue aid, and they flew in to pick up one of the pilots that lives here locally, and they flew down directly from Delphi. Another big thing we've been doing is we're working on contacting everybody, getting the word out, telling people who we are. We're a small airport and we want to engage with people around town or just in the region. So we started the airport website. It's www.delphimunicipalairport.com for any of you who would like to check that out. It's not just for pilots, it's also for just regular civilians to see what exactly is going on, what are we doing, and just getting to know us a little bit better. And then lastly, the big thing I wanted to touch on is we're getting ready for this new event. Here's a little bit of our flyer. We're hoping that's going to go over really well. We're looking for more community involvement, trying to show off other businesses, not just the airport, but everyone else, to say, hey, this is Delphi and this is what we do. Some of the smaller things I'd like to touch base on are the fact that we're working on organizing the airport to something better, so everybody's understanding what's going on. In the past, the airport administration's been a little shaky. We're working on redeveloping that. Currently, we stand at 5 board members, and that we actually had the passing of Jim Hodge a few months ago. And Jim basically set our mission and our goals for us, and we hopefully will live up to everything he wanted us to do. One of the big things we did this year, in the end, you can either say yes or no, but we did save a good amount of money compared to previous years. I think it was around 10 grand. A lot of that we tried to encumber, but we're working on saving the city money as well. And then lastly, one of the things I'm trying to do this current year is getting the schools involved. In a small airport like this, we're not doing something extraordinarily great with air traffic, but we can help the next generation of aviators come alongside us and develop their careers. Right now, the aviation industry is seeing a shortage of pilots that will only grow So those careers will be able to skyrocket quickly and also be able to make them a ton of profit. So why not start them here young and in Delphi? So we'll be working with the local schools, trying to get that program started up. And then in the long run, we're looking at 5 years away now, and I haven't told you this yet. We have decided we're going to move forward with a new terminal building rather than anything else. That way we can stimulate growth and get pilots in the area to Delphi, not Purdue, and start this competition thing so we can get people to know Delphi is the place to fly in their plane rather than getting people to fly into Purdue's services, which are way more expensive anyways. So we're looking forward to everything we can do. We want to make it something to be proud of, something that the city of Delphi no longer looks at as a waste of money, but something that can help stimulate growth. So if you guys have any questions, my contact information is on the website. That includes all of you as well. Please help spread the word. We want to grow this place as much as we can, but we want to do it while utilizing everything resourcefully. So thank you guys very much. That's all I have. Do you guys have any questions?
Thanks, Jason. Do we have questions for Mr. Hart?
Are you offering flying lessons or?
We can do that. While there is a liability policy for the airport to take it on as its own, we do have pilots there that are willing to fly, maybe for free sometimes.
Any other questions for Mr. Hart? All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Jason, can you turn off that? Thank you. All right, we'll move next to the reading of minutes and approval. We have a copy of the minutes from January 2nd, 2018. Are there additions, subtractions, deletions, or amendments to be made to this set of minutes? Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I move approval of the January 2nd.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. I'll open the floor up to deliberation. Any further discussion? I'll call the question as the passage of the minutes from January 2nd, 2018. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We move next to written and oral reports from committees, boards, commissions, and department heads. I think today you should have received Chief Mullen's report. Chief, do you want to come up and provide an oral report to supplement your written report?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Mayor. As you can see before you have the statistics from last year. We had 340 case reports, 87 crash investigation reports, 132 parking tickets, 26 annual license, and 111 general citations. There were 1,300 calls for service and 148 arrests. And of course, this month's statistics as well. And just the department's ready to serve this year. And if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them.
Any questions for Chief Mullen?
How many traffic tickets and traffic warnings were written in January?
In January, we had no tickets that I have recorded. However, I know we have some. The tickets were probably sent to the county, but I don't have a record of those right for you right now. I can get that information for you later if you like.
Okay, I would, please. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Yes.
They're averaging, right, about 5,000 miles a month for the year.
Yes, that's right. About 50. We had 58,693 miles.
Okay.
What else?
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. I'll grab my laptop here real quick if you have it.
All right. Superintendent Lyons, would you like to provide a short oral report?
Good evening. I won't go down the whole list there. I believe you guys should have highlights of January for me. Two of the things I'll touch base on, one is the lights in Riley Park and City Park. I've been meaning to say something. We installed some street lights down in Riley parking lot. We did that here about a month or so ago. Riley Park's parking lot is now lit up pretty bright. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but it's now pretty bright down there. So that's been taken care of, as well as City Park. I put a new wall pack on the restroom, as well as LED lights in the shelter to hopefully this summer prevent some unsavory folk from hanging out in there and flipping tables over and doing whatever else they do in there. So that got done. The other thing I'll touch base on is the AR valve that I brought to you guys' attention. That has been ordered, and we should be getting that. So anytime now, hopefully that AR valve will be installed. That will be warranted by BF&S. So at some point we'll be getting the final paperwork on the pump station to be able to close out on that for the general contractor on that. His job will be done, and then valve is gonna be the responsibility of the engineer to take care of from this point forward, so. And that's all I've got, unless anybody's got any questions for me.
Any questions for Superintendent Lyons?
I have, on these bids for East Main, North Union, North Market, North Indiana, and East Franklin, are those for asphalt?
What do we, I don't know what you're looking at.
Councilman Shockley, that's for the owner occupied rehabilitation phase 2. So that's, it's part of the Stellar grant. So it's for rehab on private homes that qualify for the financial, they had to go through a couple different steps. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
for work on private homes.
All right.
So how many homes are we dealing with in this phase?
In this phase, well, there's a total of $250,000 from the state and feds, $25,000 from the city, however many we can get out of that. There's a maximum federally of $19,625 that can be spent on each house. I think right now, there's 5 or 6 houses on that list, I think 5. So
Yeah.
once, we're gonna continue to try to contact property owners and get more homes. Possibly 3 to 5 more. We've waited to award that contract because the bids came back relatively high. So for some of the property owners, and it depends on the situation, the federal government's more likely to grant a subsidy waiver where the feds can provide more money to those property owners. But we submitted that, and I can't remember what the turnaround is on that. So we're currently still holding those bids. We haven't awarded yet.
You have, roughly a $30,000, $32,000 difference between 309 East Main and then, looks like almost 55,000 on 502 North Union. Then you have, roughly a 32,000 on difference on 606 North Market.
Yeah, Summer Chase came back quite a bit higher. The numbers that you see, so what the property owners did, they put together a list of all the projects they'd like to see, knowing that there was a pretty good chance they weren't going to get all those projects awarded because there is only a certain amount of money that can be spent on each house. So the numbers that you see there are bulk for every project that the property owner asked for. What Star Development has done in the interim since we got those bids back, they've reached out to the property owners. There's some mandatory things that they have to do as long as it's with lead remediation, but they've talked to the property owners and tried to prioritize other projects that fit them within the $19,625 from the feds. So the amounts that we're going to be awarding are going to be significantly lower than what you see there.
I see. One other thing I have on the January 15th, Board of Works and Safety, the grant is for $48,695.
Oh, the Trail Task Force?
Yeah.
The Indian Creative.
For the NXA contract is current. Back in August of last year, I was talking to a young lady, and she said there were 2 people that donated $30,000 apiece from Noblesville or Muncie, I believe, and said they made, that way it would put them over $100,000 for that project.
That's correct.
Is that right?
The 48,625 or 695 reflects what we received from IHCDA. That was their contribution to the match. It was up to 50,000. If we raise 50, they contribute 50,000, and then there's some taken out through patron SD. I don't know, 1.5% or whatever it calculates out to. So that 48,695 or whatever it is just relates to what IHCDA put forward to the grant. So there's money outside of that that was crowdfunded. That's in that pool of money as well.
Okay. All right.
I think the 2 large donors wish to remain
Yeah,
anonymous.
there were 2, yeah, that I have.
The potholes look better. Thank you.
Any other questions for Superintendent Lyons? Superintendent Myers, provide an oral report.
Amy. Just a couple highlights that we did. We pumped 28,507,000 gallons for the month of January. The building at well 3 is completed. The electrical's started. Stuff's been delivered. We're gonna trench as soon as the weather breaks. Trench the electrical line in. So, we replaced 3 service lines in January. We had a rough month on leaks. We actually had 7 water leaks due to the weather. I'm pretty sure the up and down of the hot and cold. So. We did put up some no trespassing signs and no spray signs at well 6 around the well field out there for future IDM regulations. So. And that's about all I got. Any questions?
Any questions for Superintendent Myers? Thank you, Superintendent. Superintendent Van Sickle?
Evening. Just a couple of highlights. Blues fence, installed a new sliding front gate at the wastewater plant last month. Sent in a couple of reports, annual reports. The annual pre-treatment report was sent into IDM. And the annual biosolids report prepared by Merrill Brothers was sent to EPA. And I think you got an annual report there. That's really all I got unless there's some questions.
Any questions for Superintendent Van Sickle? Hearing none, thank you, Superintendent. You guys have my monthly report. There's so many different things that I could talk about. I don't know if there's any couple things you want me to focus on, if you want to ask questions. Been kind of all over the place this month. We did meet with US Aggregates this morning and Fearless Midwest. Had about a 3.5 hour long meeting with them. We talked about it quite a bit at the Board of Public Works and Safety meeting. That video will be online tomorrow. We're going to continue to explore options in the current aquifer, whether that means lowering wells or not lowering, drilling a new well 7, aeration to help reduce the sulfide concentrations, wells 1, 3, and 7, lowering the pump on well 5, aeration, booster station, ground storage tanks. There's a lot that goes into it. But we had that meeting this morning. I've got to reach out to the engineers tomorrow and let them know kind of where we're at with US Aggregates. There's a lot of things going on this month. I don't know if there's any specific questions you'd like.
You did mention that US Aggregates were saying that they weren't going to go deeper.
At today's meeting, they expressed that their 5-year mine plan did not indicate that they would go past the depth that they are currently.
And what depth are they at currently?
Around 200 feet.
We keep getting little dribs and drabs of things about the water situation. And we see that you've been talking to US Ags, to IPC, to the Economic Development Commission, Carroll County Redevelopment Commission, and especially with the Board of Works. Why are we not communicated with on the same level that you're communicating with those people with? I don't understand that.
Councilman, I believe you got a memorandum last Monday, which was, let's see, 10 days after I heard back from IPC. In that time between hearing back from IPC and delivering that memorandum is when I talked to the EDC, to the RDC, the Board of Public Works and Safety. So I think in a 10-day period, informing the council of IPC's decision.
And that was just about it.
Right.
Now we're hearing that there's a 5 to 23 or whatever it is $1 million bond on the table that we're going to have to deal with. We've got no information about that.
And I don't know what the price is going to be, Councilman, and the price of the bond for the expansion was going to be a lot higher. If we start talking about numbers before we know what they're gonna be, we're living in the abstract. But until we get something concrete where we know the financial information, what things are gonna cost and what direction we're gonna go, I don't know why we'd be talking about the financial side.
I'm not just talking about the financial side. I'm talking the technical side of it. Why aren't we being communicated with and being told everything that you're telling everyone else?
I told you guys the exact same thing I told everybody else
I don't believe that.
within 4 or 5 days.
I don't believe that. All you told us was that IPC had changed their mind and they weren't going to expand. You've not given us any intricate information about this. And yet you talk to the Board of Works like you're gonna come to us within the next 30 days to put forth a bond that will triple water rates, potentially. I mean, I think that's a big deal to the customers of the city. I think that's a big deal to us.
I disagree with the statement that I haven't communicated with you guys and given you the same information that I've provided everybody else.
Well, maybe I'm missing something. Do you two feel the same way, or am I wrong?
Well, tonight, I came to the Board of Works and I understood much more than, I mean, it had been a quiet subject to the council. And, you know, I was like Dale, maybe hearing the roundabouts, but tonight I did feel like there was some inclusion, but, you know, that's because I came to another meeting.
A Board of Works meeting.
Mhm.
And that's exactly what I mean. I mean, we read back in, on July 19th in the comment where Sam Dywart's quoted as saying the cost of a major utility expansion could go as high as $50 million. We've not heard anything, and I realize that may be an atrocious amount, or twice again what you're even considering. But still, I mean, we haven't heard anything from that. We're just not, you're not communicating with us. Not on the level you're communicating with everyone else.
I would disagree, Councilman, but I
Well,
appreciate the input.
that's all right. In October, you said you didn't think the relationship between you and the council was broken. It's because of things like this is why it is broken.
Thank you, Councilman. I will try to communicate more. That is that. We have any further questions for the mayor?
I guess, I don't know when is a good time to bring it up, but since Mike brought up the, that grant for the, trail safety,
Yes, ma'am.
it seems like within the community, I have heard that, the city of Delphi is going to be responsible for the maintenance of the cameras.
Yes, ma'am, probably the electric costs and the maintenance long-term. And what I've talked to the trail task force about is trying to set aside some money either in a rotary fund. They've discussed the possibility of an endowment. I think we probably move towards a rotary fund, but to assist the city of Delphi.
So how do we establish the rotary fund? Where do we get the money to put in the rotary?
I believe we could take it out of the grant dollars that they provided.
Because I can just imagine that those cameras are going to be stolen, vandalized. I mean, I hope not.
I'm gonna interject something, because I'm not real sure that it's, let's read the grant again on whether we could take it out of the grant money. But the canal itself raised additional funds beyond their match for the grant. They raised more than their 50,000 required. They were
Correct.
required to
Yes.
raise 50,000 to get the grant, but they raised funds in excess of that amount.
Yeah.
I don't think they plan on using all their funds on that, so those funds for sure could be placed in your rotary fund.
Right, there's, depends on how you look at it, but there should be funds available to put into a rotary fund, depending on bids come back well.
So we would be responsible for getting the electricity to the cameras, like,
No, that would be part of the grant funds. Would be the trenching or conduit, whatever you need to do, could come out of those grant funds to power the cameras.
will there be an insurance, that could,
I believe they have to be insured. but I believe it'd be covered under our blanket policy.
I just had that concern of vandalism. We know when Aaron just spoke of the cameras at the city parks, you know, I think that's a great step in the right direction for down there, because, you know, you just can't understand vandalism, but it seems to keep occurring, so I just was concerned about the cameras' vulnerability. So thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? All right, Councilman Shockley, do you have anything to add to the discussion of the community center? Anything outside of the minutes that were provided?
Yeah, we have finished up the painting. Thanks to Mr. Councilman Stewart. He went in and finished the painting up for us. We also have the lights on the outside of the building. Tomorrow, we start trim work around the windows. And then we'll go from there. We have cabinets that are laying on the floor. We are going to start putting them together when we get done with probably the window trim. We will set them into the smaller office area so that we can clean, once we get them all done, we can clean the floor and start setting cabinets and hopefully start setting trim, putting trim on. We've had a good bunch of volunteers to get the work all done. It's been a long process. Most people wouldn't take their time to paint a 14 or 15 foot wide room that's 36 foot, 35 foot long by themselves, but we've had people do that. Same way with walls. Walls are 32 foot wide, 10 foot high. You don't have a lot of people want to do that, but we have people that have stepped up and done it. The room itself is roughly 60 foot wide, or 60 foot long, 32 foot wide. All that room is completely painted. The ceiling in it has been painted twice. The ceiling in the office area, every room except for the furnace room, the ceilings in them have been painted twice. A real nice bright white. And it, hopefully, in the near future, I say the near future, we'll be able to do something in there to get things going again. But until that time, we've got a long way to go, but we've come a long way. And I thank everybody, everybody in the community, for their support in doing what we've been able to do with the money we've been able to raise and everything like that. It's been a long road. It's going to be a longer road, but we're going to get there. With the help of all of our volunteers, we're going to get there. So.
Thank you, Councilman. Do you have any questions for the councilman?
Mike has done a lot of painting as well.
Yes.
Huh?
I said you have done a lot of painting as well.
Not near as much as what a lot of them have, but I've done my share. Everybody's done a share.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Seward, do you have anything from the Area Planning Commission to report on?
I have three things. In our January meeting, there was a gentleman that came to the meeting and asked for, through Doug Wagner, for the ability to begin construction on a new convenience store out on 421. It'd be on the same site and right before the ASCS office, so basically across from the Methodist Church. We, as a body, have to approve that, have to approve the construction because it falls into the Hoosier Heartland Overlay District. And I made the motion to accept that, and that was unanimously approved to where they can take the next step as far as getting closer to starting that construction. The second thing actually occurred at a Board of Zoning Appeals meeting after the Area Plan Commission, and that was for a variance to allow a new veterinary clinic, and that would be for the old timers That's the old Salem Bank. Most recently, it would have been Albecues out there at the Brosman thing. I gave a talk on that in favor of that motion, and that passed through to where that will allow them to open up their new business. The third thing is we were briefed by Doug Wagner on the fact that he's working on incorporating Delphi into the county zoning ordinance and has apparently worked with the city on that in some regard. I had not heard about that. Do you have anything that you want to put forth with that information-wise?
Yeah, Director Wagner approached me a couple months ago that he'd like to start pursuing, trying to get not only the city of Delphi, but the towns of Camden, Burlington, and Yeoman incorporated into the county's zoning ordinance, where ours would remain more or less the same, but it would be incorporated to a larger document so that you have, let's say, exceptions, so that within a city or town with a population above 2,000, then you can do this. And in an unincorporated area of the county, you can do that. So it would be essentially merging our two documents, still giving us autonomy, but putting it into one cohesive document. We haven't really talked about game plan or how soon he wants to see that pursued.
Is that something you are for, or what?
I'd want to consult with the city attorney. Sounds like something that statutorily probably should occur, instead of having various conflicting zoning ordinances within the county under one body.
I think the biggest thing is the approach on that, because it can be a controversial issue. So instead of having one document that applies to all of the locations the same, it would need to be like what Mayor is saying, where the city has what they want and it goes into this document, and it's one that you can look at on the website, people can go to, because the problem that they're having is no one knows where to turn for answers. If you're in the city, do you look at the counties, do you look at the cities, is the cities being enforced, who can help you and answer questions? So the goal would be at least to get it in one document, whatever it is that you guys want, into the county's document. I'm not aware of any other municipalities that are part of a county zoning ordinance and their own, because they conflict with each other. That's all I have.
Any further questions?
Not at this time.
All right, thank you, Councilman. We'll move next to the appointments of council liaisons pursuant to Resolution 2018-1. Provide a memorandum. I have President Pro Tem Pearson appointed as the liaison to the Water Department in the Office of the Mayor. Councilman Garrison to the Streets and Parks, as well as the Office of the Clerk Treasurer. Councilman Seward appointed to Wastewater and the Delphi Tri-Township Fire Territory. Councilman Shockley and I had a discussion. I guess you appointed to the Community Development Department, so you can continue to talk to all the department heads. And then Councilman